Hello and welcome back to another video on Unpack Technologies. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to adjust the startup items on your Windows device. This process will work on most versions of Windows, dating back from Windows Vista all the way to the latest Windows 11. So, let's get straight into it. Alright, so this process will allow you to adjust what items open on startup, which in turn will affect the performance of your PC on startup. So if you disable some of the items that you may not need, the PC should then become a little bit faster when you boot it up. So as I mentioned earlier, this will work on most versions of Windows from the past 10 or so years, so you should be all set, and the process will be fairly similar on all of them. Today I'll be performing this tutorial on the latest Windows 11, but if you're on Windows 10 or earlier, the steps will be quite similar. So there's a few different ways we can do this process, but what we need to do is we need to open Task Manager to adjust these startup apps. So a few different ways you can access it. You can either go Control-Alt-Delete if your computer is not responding and is not, acting correctly when you're doing it. Control-Delete is always a good way to get into Task Manager and end the process. I'm not sure if this screen will show up on the screen recording, but all you need to do is when you click Control-Delete, there'll be an option for Task Manager, and just click that and it will open up. Now, I'll just close this for now. The other way you can open Task Manager is just by going to Start or the search button and then typing in Task Manager, and you can click enter and it will show up that way as well. So that's just a couple of different ways that you can open up Task Manager. Now this is where it looks a little bit different on Windows 11. So Windows 10 and earlier will have a bar up the top which says processes, startup apps, performance, things like that. But on Windows 11, they've redesigned the apps slightly, so there's now these little icons on the side. Now, if you're not sure what these icons mean, because they also confused me a little bit at first when I switched to Windows 11, you can just click the hamburger menu at the top, which says Open Navigation. Click that, and then you've got the different categories that you can go to. So by default, it's on Processes. We want to go to Startup Apps, which is the little sort of odometer or speedometer sort of logo there. So once you click that, you will now be taken to the Startup Apps section. So I'll just make this full screen so we can see it. These are the different apps that are either enabled or disabled on startup. So different apps that are installed on my computer. Now, there's not many on this user because it's a clean user that I use just for filming, but on yours there'll probably be a lot more apps. But what you can see here is each of the different apps and whether it is enabled or disabled on startup, and then it will also show you the startup impact. So a lot of these haven't been measured on startup, but some of them will say that there's no startup impact. So obviously if it's disabled, there is no startup impact, but if it's enabled, it might measure it. Now, it doesn't show any measured on this one, but on my main user, some of them say it has a high startup impact, a low, or a moderate. So that's sort of how it works. It will also show you in the top right hand corner the last BIOS time, so how long it took for the BIOS to start up last time the computer was booted. So in this case it was 5.3 seconds. So as you adjust some of this and reboot your computer, you'll see what sort of difference that's making. So what we'll do here is just to demonstrate, there's a few things here that are enabled that I might not want on startup. So for example, Microsoft Teams. That's on by default in Windows 11 and possibly even earlier versions as well. But I don't need that to come up on startup. So what I'll do is I'll click on it here, and then up in the top right, there's a button that says disable, and I'm just going to click disable. And you'll see there that it changes Microsoft Teams from enabled to disabled. And likewise, if I wanted to enable an app that I really needed on this computer for startup, I can go to something like Terminal, and let's say I really want Terminal to open up on startup. Well, all I need to do is click on the app and then click enable up here. And now it's enabled. So that's just how you sort of turn them on and off. It's super simple. And you can also run a new task at any time if the app may not be showing up. So that's just from the run new task button there. And you can open it up like so, or you can browse for the file if you need to. Another option is you can go to the properties tab. But what I did notice is on Windows 11 it seems to be a little bit buggy because every time I click properties it either doesn't show up or it brings up an error. So it may work on your older versions, but currently on Windows 11 it doesn't seem to be working properly. And then there's also the three dots up here for a couple of extra options where you can open file location. So let's say I want to open the file location of something like Creative Cloud. I can click it and then click open file location, and it opens the location of Creative Cloud on my computer and I can see where it's located. So that's quite handy. And also you can just click search online if you want to as well, and that will search for what the file is, say creativecloud.exe, and then it's talking about Creative Cloud there. So that's just all the options in the Startup Apps section of Task Manager and how you can use this to adjust the startup speed of your computer, hopefully improve the speed over time, but also make sure you have the apps that you want open on startup and get rid of some of that bloatware that is slowing your computer down. So yeah, hopefully this was helpful in giving you a good idea on how to enable and disable certain startup apps on your Windows PC. Let me know in the comments below if you'd like me to make this a bit of a series where I run through each of the different menus on Task Manager and how to do it in depth, and also whether you would like to see this same video conducted on macOS so I can show you the startup apps section on there, because I'm more than happy to make those videos if you'd like to see them. But other than that, thanks for watching this video on Unpacked Technologies. Don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.